Did you know that two countries with vastly different histories, religions, and regions have been quietly redefining their economic and military futures over the last 5 years, without most of the world noticing? People click on power rankings expecting numbers and flags. What they don't expect is how fragile power really is, and how fast it can shift. This is not a shouting match between nations. This is a calm, factual look at how the Philippines and Pakistan, two strategic states, have navigated economic pressure, military reform, and global realignment since 2019. What you'll learn isn't who's stronger, but why power today looks nothing like it did before. Both countries face the same problem. How do you protect your people and your sovereignty in a world where money moves faster than missiles and alliances matter more than size? Pakistan entered the last 5 years with a legacy of heavy military influence and regional security pressure. The Philippines entered with a different burden: economic dependency, disaster vulnerability, and territorial tension in the South China Sea. Same timeline, different constraints. Economically, Pakistan has long relied on industrial capacity, remittances, and strategic loans. The Philippines leaned on services, overseas workers, and consumer-driven growth. On paper, both models worked until global shocks exposed their weaknesses. When global supply chains fractured and inflation surged, Pakistan's debt exposure tightened its options. The Philippines, while also hit, showed resilience through consumption stability and remittance inflows. This wasn't about wealth, it was about flexibility. Pakistan's military remained one of the most organized institutions in the country, commanding significant budget share and domestic influence. The Philippine military, by contrast, focused on modernization, smaller, smarter, and more interoperable. Here's where tension builds. Military strength without economic stability becomes fragile. Economic growth without security becomes vulnerable. Over 5 years, both nations felt this pressure, but responded very differently. Pakistan leaned heavily on traditional security doctrine and external financial support. The Philippines began recalibrating, quietly shifting toward defense partnerships, localized modernization, and economic diversification. One key difference viewers often miss: civil-military balance. Pakistan's military influence provided continuity but limited reform speed. The Philippines' civilian-led approach allowed faster economic pivots but demanded consensus. As global power blocs hardened, Pakistan found itself balancing long-standing alliances with financial realities. The Philippines expanded strategic cooperation while keeping economic channels open. This wasn't ideology, it was survival math. By the midpoint of the last 5 years, inflation, currency pressure, and debt servicing began to dominate Pakistan's national conversation. Meanwhile, the Philippines focused on infrastructure, labor mobility, and investor confidence. Pakistan maintained higher absolute military capability, but at rising economic cost. The Philippines spent less, but spent smarter, prioritizing mobility, intelligence, and joint operations over sheer volume. Power today isn't about how many assets you own, it's about how fast you can respond. Readiness, logistics, and interoperability quietly became the Philippines' advantage. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Economic stress affects civilians first. In Pakistan, public confidence fluctuated with financial instability. In the Philippines, economic continuity softened social shock, even amid security concerns. Over 5 years, Pakistan showed strength and resilience, but struggled with reform speed. The Philippines showed adaptability, but remained exposed to external pressure. Neither path was perfect, both paid a price. International observers began adjusting expectations. Pakistan remained a key military actor, but with economic caveats. The Philippines gained credibility as a stable, reform-capable partner. This is the part most rankings miss. Power isn't loud anymore. It's procedural, institutional, incremental, and over 5 years, incremental advantages compounded. The biggest shift wasn't tanks or GDP, it was confidence. One nation spent 5 years managing crisis, the other spent 5 years preparing for the next one. Here's the educational takeaway. Military power without economic agility creates risk. Economic growth without security planning creates exposure. Sustainable power requires balance. So this isn't Philippines versus Pakistan. It's 2 case studies in modern statecraft, one emphasizing continuity, the other adaptation. 5 years ago, most analysts would have predicted Pakistan's dominance to widen. Instead, the gap didn't disappear, it changed shape. And shape matters more than size. Because these patterns don't apply only to nations, they apply to institutions, businesses, and even personal decision-making. Flexibility beats force when environments shift. You clicked expecting a comparison of strength. What you learned was a lesson in sustainability. Power today isn't about who stands tallest, but who stays standing longest. If this analysis gave you a new way to think about power, comment which factor surprised you most, economics or military structure. Share this with someone who still thinks strength is only about size. And subscribe for more calm, data-driven stories that explain why the world is changing, not just how.